Philadelphia has it.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to DSM Pregame Live, streaming to you here exclusively on the DSM YouTube channel. Guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure you check us out on Twitter first at DSM_media. Hit that follow button. We greatly appreciate it. And while you're over on the channel, make sure to check out the link tree in our bio. It'll take you to every social media platform we are available on. If you guys want to be interactive throughout tonight's show and catch any of the DSM Pregame Lives here, make sure you smash that bell. Turn on notifications and subscribe to the YouTube channel specifically. It is the best spot to get your thoughts, comments, and questions pulled up on the screen here with us. I am one half of your host, Dylan Davis. You can find me on Twitter at DylanJD98. To my right, George Ryder. You can find him on Twitter as well at George Ryder. My man, happy Easter weekend. And how was your weekend? I know you were down at Citizen Bank Park yesterday. Of course you were. It was the one home game the Phillies lost so far. But how was it?
The vibes are pretty high up until the end of the game, and Sir Anthony and Craig Kimbrell looking very bad. But yeah, vibes are high. Nice weather. Got their rings. Really nice rings.
How was the atmosphere before vibes went south?
Very nice. It was loud in there. Everyone was into it. Seeing everyone get their rings was nice. Everyone standing ovation for Reese. You know, it was all that. It was all nice. Typical.
Emotional.
Yeah, it's pretty emotional. Typical
little sunburn. You catch
yeah,
some rays out there yesterday.
I didn't expect it to be like that hot. I was getting ready to bundle up, and now look at me.
Yeah, man. Well, let's talk about yesterday, and let's talk about the home series versus the Reds. As we did know pregame shows and did know game recaps over the weekend, we were all very busy with the holiday and everything like that. Phillies obviously bounced back. They do win the series. They take 2 of 3 at home versus the Cincinnati Reds. But they squandered a big opportunity yesterday in a ball game that they quite frankly controlled. And if there weren't all of those mental mistakes and lack of focus, the Phillies would be 4-5 right now, coming off a sweep facing Sandy Alcantara tonight. Instead, they give the Cincinnati Reds 3 outs. They make 3 base running mistakes, 2 of which coming around third, heading home, all 3 caught in rundowns. Just mental hurdles, mental mistakes that you've seen in the first week or so of this young season. And then obviously the starter in Taijuan Walker, 105 pitches in less than 5 innings work. He and the bullpen combined for 9 walks, allowing free pass after free pass to the Cincinnati Reds ball club. And that is like rule number 1 when you are the more talented team. What can you not afford to do? Whether it's baseball, football, the NBA, it does not matter. The one thing you cannot do is allow a team to hang in there long enough to think they actually have a chance to win this game because you allow them to do so. Those base running errors, the free passes, you saw it bite Craig Kimbrell in the ass in the 8th. You saw it bite Sir Anthony Dominguez in the ass in the 8th and in the 9th inning, excuse me. Stuff like that can't happen, man. So I would ask you were down there, you and I are going tomorrow night. Is there a lack of focus with this team right now?
It was weird yesterday. Just like the blunders.
2 2-run leads.
Yeah, and just like the base running mistakes were absolutely horrible. I don't know why he sent him home going to third. It just in my view, it was like you're staying at third. I was celebrating, and then I just see Costi halfway down the line with the ball in the catcher's hand. It's like stuff like that just can't happen. And I even texted you after 4 innings of work for Walker, and I said, man,
you ruined that inning.
Yeah, I said Walker looks good, man.
Yeah,
and then it's just a complete implosion. It's
command issues big time yesterday.
And it still seemed like we were in control of the game, and we just gave it to him inning by inning by inning, and it was frustrating. And after that Bohm homer, it kind of seemed like we're gonna cruise.
Yeah,
it's gonna be okay.
Well, because that was the next half inning, right? So you're up 2-0. You make a couple mistakes early. Walker's struggling with his command, but he's getting out of innings pretty cleanly. And then he allows them to come back and tie the game 2-2. The very next half inning is when Bohm hits a shot, and then Marsh follows that up with what was almost inside the park home run. Obviously, now that was on the third base coach and Dusty Wathan, more so than it was on the base runner that time. But the Costi one, he had to have thought the ball traveled further than it did towards the backstop. I would imagine. I don't know what he was looking for. The Schwarber one, trying to turn a single late in the game into a double, thinking he's like Edmundo Sosa rounding first base, with with those elephant trunk legs that he has, thrown out by a mile. Just mental mistake after mental mistake, and you can't have that, man. So a very ugly ending to a great weekend. And I think the part that bothers and hurts the most is I said this to you yesterday after the loss. Like, this was the first loss that truly hurt on the season so far in the fashion that they lost it. And it's like you were coming off such a momentum shift the night before. Like, you followed up a walk-off victory in the ninth when you struck out almost 15 times, when you couldn't put a run across the board for 8 innings. You come up and pretty easily only got 1 out in the ninth inning, in the bottom of the ninth, and you win that ball game 3-2 in that fashion. That, Brandon Marsh talking about the atmosphere in the crowd, how the ground was shaking, the stadium was shaking. And you follow that up with that performance. You get your rings for the previous National League champions before the game. And it's like, it was very frustrating to watch, man.
Yeah, they rolled over and died, truly. And it sucks seeing Craig Kimbrell like throw 93 and just not being able to put the slider anywhere he wants. And it's just
after Edmundo Sosa bails him out.
Yeah, that exactly. And it's like, if that's the Craig Kimbrell you're going to get all year, it's not going to be a good contract. Right. And we're not going to be wanting to see him in games like at all. We can get rid of the closer role for Kimbrell. It's just not going to happen. You just can't do it. You get like Sir Anthony going out there. I don't know what's going on with Sir Anthony. The way that he's throwing to is just a complete implosion of an inning from him. It just, everything kind of just went super, super south after Taiwan lost control in the fifth inning.
4 2/3 he finished.
Yeah.
With. I completely agree.
It sucks. It really does. And like you said, it pretty much just puts a damper on an amazing weekend, because let's be honest, like, that Saturday game was awful. We didn't play well at all. It was the ninth inning that really turned everything around and changed everyone's mood. But hey, got to figure out tonight, because you got 2 aces on the mound tonight.
You got to start to figure it out, and let's get into this ball game tonight. And we're going to start with the pitching matchup here, as you get the reigning NL Cy Young Sandy Alcantara on the bump versus Matt Strahm in a bullpen game for the Titans tonight. Obviously, if you're talking advantage, you give the advantage to the Miami Marlins in this department. However, with that said, this Phillies team not only found success against the Fish last year when they had really been struggling against what was a bad Marlins team in the past couple of years, they finally bounced back against them, and they got a couple. I'm pretty sure they beat Alcantara or won against Alcantara 3 times last year. Now, maybe they didn't hand him the loss, but they won those games that he started against the Phillies last year. What are you looking at tonight? Let's start with Matt Strahm. Let's start with the bullpen game. Obviously, Matt Strahm was the lone win in the first 6 up in New York to beat the Yankees. He looked good. The bullpen came in, shut the door, didn't walk a soul. Completely different from yesterday. Does that go into this tonight? What are you looking for out of Strahm in the bullpen? How many innings does Matt Strahm go?
Need a solid 4 or 5 inning game from Strahm, 1 run or less per usual. It's just you see him pitch against the Yankees, and it kind of gives you hope. Going into the Yankees game, we kind of chalked it up as a loss. It's like, Matt Strahm bullpen game, nothing's going to happen here.
On the road,
and he pitched super, super well. He's so solid, which typically you just don't get from Matt Strahm as a starter in the past. So tonight against the Miami Marlins lineup, which is definitely not as stacked as the Yankees, I have faith. And like, the Phillies lineup, at least the top of the order, it's really good from 1 to 5 tonight. It really is. And they switched it up, putting Stott up there, which I get it. It's at this point, it's this type of lineup. I could see Stott leading off. And you got guys that are going to get on, Stott and Turner, fast guys too, and lead off for Schwarber after. You can get to Sandy, man. It only takes 1 inning. If Matt Strahm stays in there and he's solid, the Phillies can 100% win this game, which is like, it would be a very big win, especially because going into tomorrow, you have another huge arm in Miami with Eduardo. So tonight's a big one. Tonight's a very big one to get.
Tonight's a big one, not just for if you're looking ahead at the continuous pitching matchups and what you're going to get there. It's huge for Mr. Mo, man. It's huge for momentum, not just for the team, but for the fan base as well. So you don't really think about it. I said this to Scotty earlier, okay, it's 1 loss, but the difference from 4 and 5 to 3 and 6, the Phillies closed that game out yesterday, 2 outs away, and they're 4 and 5 today. In a week's time, you would expect them to be a handful of games above 500 with this schedule. Now you're 3 games below 500, and you have to continue to scrape and crawl your way out of this hole you dug yourself into. And it does not get any easier with Sandy Alcantara tonight. So I'm going to get to the lineup in a minute here. But in terms of Strahm, I do agree with you. I'll be interested to see if anything comes out about, his pitch count tonight. I know last time they wanted him limited to around 70, I believe. You saw the velocity dip, you saw the control and command start to dip as the innings went on. He's getting frustrated with himself and yelling at himself and smacking his glove off the mound, but very animated. But he worked his way out of it, and he ultimately gave them a chance to win the game, which they did. They also got him a lead early with a Kyle Schwarber moonshot in the second at bat of the game. So I'm looking for Strahm to at least get into the fifth. Does he have to go 5 clean? No. But 4 1/3, 4 2/3. You got that out of a starter yesterday in Taiwan Walker. So I'm looking for Strahm to do that. No more than 3 runs given up in those 4 1/3, 5 innings. You would hope for less, right? But definitely no more than 3 to keep this team in the ballgame against Alcantara. When you look at Sandy, though, and let's get to this lineup now because the Phillies are going to have their work cut out for them. And as I said, they had success against him last season. But when you look at this lineup, there's only a handful of guys that have seen him on multiple occasions, one being the newbie and Trey Turner. So here is your Philadelphia Phillies starting lineup for game number. This is 10 now on the young season. And Rob Thompson getting creative, getting I don't know what word to use here from Topper, man, but he has switched things up. And you have Bryson Stott, as you mentioned, at shortstop, leading this game off tonight. I'm not going to say that it's not well deserved. He has been their best hitter. He's been their most patient hitter, their most consistent hitter. So it could be a spark plug to lead off tonight, as Trey Turner has struggled the last 2 games or so, as well as Kyle Schwarber. With that said, Trey gets the nod in the 2 hole. Kyle Schwarber batting 3rd, Nick Castellanos cleaning up, batting 4th, Alec Boehm batting 5th, Brandon Marsh 6th. Then it gets interesting, my friend. Jake Cave batting 7, Cody Clemens batting 8th, and JT Realmuto gets his 2nd game off with Garrett Stubbs catching, batting 9th. Now, any lineup that features Cave, Clemens, and Stubbs at the bottom end of it is not reason for optimism, especially with who's on the bump across from them. So that part of this lineup worries me. Additionally, I agree with you. Me and you were texting back and forth. I agree with you that maybe it's worth it to throw Stott in the lead-up spots tonight and see if you can get a spark because you're looking for something. But I have a couple issues with what Rob Thompson has decided to do to start the season and what he's doing tonight, okay? You and I discuss all the time about needing to find a consistent lineup. And yes, I know injuries is hampering that. I know missing Bryce, Reese out for the year, then Reese's replacement, Derek Hall goes down. I understand that. But this quite literally might be the 10th different lineup that we've thrown out there in 10 games. I don't know if we've had a back-to-back game with the same lineup. You have too much movement around this, man. You have Stott, who's hit from anywhere from 5 to 8. Now he's leading off. Turner and Schwarber slide down 1. Bohm's hit 3, 5, 6, 7 this year. Marsh, because of who you have in the back end of your lineup, is batting 6th tonight. And Brandon Marsh has been great from the plate. But 6th is not the spot you want to see Brandon Marsh at in this lineup tonight. I think he's doing too much. I really do. And when you're looking for movement, you're looking for a lineup to work. I don't think Stott to the top of it is the answer you're looking for. I think the consistency, specifically at the back end, is what you're looking for. I don't see why Edmundo Sosa is not in this lineup because he gives you the best 9 there is. I don't get a lot of what he's doing. I don't get why Cody Clemens is playing. I don't get in a night which you bench JT, you decide to throw Clemens and Cave out there together with Stubbs. I don't like it. I do not like this lineup versus Alcantara tonight, man.
Yeah, and even like sitting JT, like JT historically has been a pretty good bat against Sandy in his career. He's batting like 280 and he has home run against him, 2 doubles. It's like, I get that. I agree with you to a certain extent. It's I think right now with Harper out, Sosa and Bohm need to be in the lineup every single day.
I agree.
I agree with you. I think
and
that
I
gives.
didn't agree a week ago.
Yeah, I know.
was not on board when Hall went down to permanently or semi-permanently move Bohm over to first because he is your future third baseman.
Yeah,
That's not
for
in
sure.
the agenda for the future. I didn't want to mess with that, especially with the struggles he's had at third in the past defensively. But right now, you need to win games, and you win games by throwing out your best 9. And Sosa and Bohm in the lineup together gives you your best 9.
Agree with you 100%. I think Sosa gives you the best chance to win, not freaking Cody Clemens or it just. I'm sick of the Cody Clemens experiment already. Like I'm already over
Me
it.
too.
I'm just not.
Pache hits again on Saturday. Like I get
Yeah,
it,
it's
double off the wall.
ridiculous.
He got on with a bunt. I thought Brandon Marsh tweaked his ankle again or something for him not being in the lineup. No,
Me
he
too.
comes in and saves the day in the 9th. There
He
is
did.
no reason, man,
Yes.
that these dudes that you need to platoon against lefties, that you need to give rest days as often as you are through a week and a half of baseball. I know it's a marathon, not a sprint, and I'd rather these guys be rested come October than a full go right now. But again, you have dug yourself into a 3-6 game, and while it's a 3-6 hole, and while it's okay to have a bad week, George, once that week becomes weeks,
Yeah.
now you're in a hole too deep.
Yes.
Like the cutoff line for the Philly struggles starts now. That yesterday was it. You wiped the slate clean, and you need to pick it up today.
110%. And like when it comes to like tweaking the lineups, like I agree with you. Consistency does matter. Like it matters a lot. I just at this point, it just feels like this is what it's going to be like until Harper's back. I think he's going to find a middle ground where the 1 to 6 spots are pretty consistent. I don't
That's
think
what it needs to be. 1 to 6 or 7 needs to be consistent.
And I don't see Stott leading off unless it's a game like this where the bottom of the order is Cave, Clemens, Stubbs. He might just be trying to find a spark, like you said. This could be like a spark thing. Stott has been absolutely incredible. He's a grinder at bat type of guy. Like he doesn't swing and miss often. He gets around, he hits pitches, he fouls pitches off. That with Turner, who's been swinging like just freely, like a lineup that's set on like plate discipline. I love Turner. He can do whatever he wants, man. But like he's got to sometimes take some pitches, and it's like maybe Stott's going to give you something tonight. We'll see. But I agree with you. I think consistency in the lineup, at least from the top point, is very important. And in 1 month, we're going to see a lot more consistency with Bryce.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be interesting because Turner predominantly hit in the 2 hole. Or the 3 hole in LA. So he's been moved around. He does not need to be a traditional leadoff guy for this team to find success. But everybody fought me tooth and nail before. And I came around on the fact that Kyle Schwarber can't lead off because you can't have a run stopper on base in front of Trey. And again, 9 games is what it took to try to get it. Like my point about
I agree,
for a spark is I don't think moving Trey out of the leadoff is the spark you think it's going to provide.
Fair.
Why not Stott in the 2 hole?
Yeah.
Why not Trey, Stott, Schwarber?
I thought
that's Trey down.
I thought that's what we were gonna see, honestly. Like I thought we were gonna if it was gonna be a move like this, I thought it would be Turner, Stott, Schwarber. But listen, maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. It's just Rob hasn't been pushing the right buttons, really. So it's hard for me. Listen, I'm not. We're not over. We don't panic.
No. I don't want this
panic.
conversation to be.
It's just like you have to. We'll see how Rob does. It's just the buttons have not been pushed well.
No, I don't want this conversation to be taken as overreacting or in a totality form. Like this is not to scale what I think the Phillies are going to be. Or Rob Thompson's going to be moving forward, but something needs to start moving in a positive direction. And I think 3 series are, World Series hangover, whatever the case was, it's time to hone in. It's time to focus. You have a division rival for 3 here. You're a better team. I don't care what the pitching matchup looks like. You're the better team. And then you go back to Cincinnati for 4 to play the Reds. And you should be 500 or above by the end of that Cincinnati series.
Like you have to jump off of Sandy, Luzardo, Cabrera, whatever, and then you go right back into Lodolo. And it's like you just have all these arms that are absolutely studs on the mound. This is a big week for the bats. It just is. It's a huge week for the bats.
I agree, man. And with that said, let's get to your star of the game before we get to our predictions and our best bets to wrap up this pregame live. When you look at the top of this lineup, wherever you're pointing to, whether it be the arms or Trey Turner or Kyle Schwarber, when you mentioned the bet, that's who I need to step up tonight, because while the come from behind win was cool, while yes, JT homered on Friday night to pull away for a 2-run lead, in this past series, Trey Turner went quiet, struck out a lot. Kyle Schwarber continues to strike out a lot. Right, he doubled as well on Friday for an RBI, but he struggled since that at bat. Boehm at home, besides the home run yesterday, was not what he was the first 2 series from the plate. To me, you really had 3 guys step up, and that was Bryson Stott, Brandon Marsh, and somewhat of Edmundo Sosa. So you had 3 back end of your lineup kind of guys step up. Nick continues to walk. He's hit a couple doubles, but he's still shown some inconsistency. You need more consistency from the top end of this lineup. You need Trey Turner tonight against Sandy Alcantara. You need Kyle Schwarber. You need Alec Boehm, Nick Castellanos. So to me, I'm looking at the heavy hitters tonight. Who is your star of the game?
I think it's going to be Trey Turner. And, it's Trey Turner. It's a chalk pick. But like you just said, he really has been struggling. He's been swinging the bat and missing like crazy. And it's been very frustrating to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Trey Turner, that first series, he hits. It's what he does. Tonight, batting second, this is, like you said, this is the Dodger spot. This is where he was most of the Dodgers time. Second, third. Maybe gets a little spark. Turner gets on. It's like you have Stott and Turner on for Schwarber. Give me some of that all night. I think Trey Turner goes in there. I think he gives you a 3 for 4 performance, and I think we roll. And this is going to be a great game. It needs to be. It has to be.
I agree with you, man. I think he definitely needs to step up just for the sake of being different. I'm going to go with Kyle Schwarber. I'm going to go with a guy that needs a big hit or two to get out of whatever little slump that he finds himself in at times. And like I said, I defended Schwarber today. I actually on Faithful Fanatics this morning and posted a clip about the fact that I don't see how Bryson Stott moves above 5 because in the lineup because I don't see where he would go. Now I think with JT getting the rest day, it makes it a little easier because Schwarber can still bat third. But I think Kyle needs to start to pick it up because you and I had a very painful conversation, as did we have with Paul Hembekides, about Schwarber taking the biggest step backward for this Phillies lineup this year. And so far, the average, what's he hitting right now?
I think it's like
150.
I thought it was lower than that. Yeah.
Maybe it was 140 coming in.
I think it's 130.
130. Now he's got 2 home runs on the young season, but I don't know what the math would be for 2 every 9, but I think it would still be pretty good. But you just need more consistency out of Kyle Schwarber, especially when no one else seems to be picking up the slack in terms of power numbers. The Phillies have one of the worst run differentials in the league, and I believe they are 27th or 28th across the major leagues in home runs. So that needs to change. George, before we get to our predictions tonight, here are your DSM pregame live best bets for this Phillies Marlins matchup. As you can see, first and foremost, when you look at this pitching matchup with Sandy Alcantara on the bump, I think you get a pretty good solid debut out of Matt Strahm through 4 1/3 or a little further. Under 4.5 total runs for the first 5 innings at -150 on DraftKings Sportsbook. So 4 runs or less between the Marlins and Phillies in the first 5 innings of this one. If you go down 1, you have George's star of the game, Trey Turner, over 1.5 total bases at +150. George, tell the people why you're so excited about this.
+150. It's been -110 the last 4 games. You have to bet at this point. In his career, I know Sandy's the scariest guy ever on the mound. In his career, 10 for 27, batting .370, he has 2 doubles and a homer. Trey Turner over 1.5 bases. He's going to single twice at least. I see him 3 hits tonight. You have to bet at that value.
Love it, love it, love it. And then finally, again, I know it's Sandy, man. I think the Phillies find a way. I think the top half of the order at least finds a way. Maybe someone smashes a big home run tonight. Phillies team total over 3.5 at -110. This lineup, at least, like I said, 1 through 6 tonight should be potent enough to get some runs across the board. because I think they're going to need to win. I do not think in a bullpen game the Phillies are going to hold the fort down again, where they're only going to give up 2 or 3 runs in this ball game. And the reason I like the team total is because the Philadelphia Phillies are going to win tonight. Like I said, you have to draw the line in the sand and put your foot down last night. That had to be it. The mistakes, the lack of focus, the bullpen, Rob Thompson's decision-making, the quiet bats and the power numbers, that ends yesterday. 9 games in, it is time to turn things around. You were 3-6. You want to start series up, especially at home against Citizens Bank Park, the same way you did against the Reds, because as the series progresses, you want to look to either sweep or win it. You do not want to do what you're doing record-wise and fall behind and have to scratch and claw to get back and ultimately win this one at home. Phillies are going to win tonight, George. I think they get 5 runs across the board tonight. I think Sandy might get plucked in the 6th or 7th. They definitely, by the way, we didn't talk about, keys or anything like that. They better work the count. I better see a better approach. I better not see a bunch of first pitch swinging from this team in the top half of this lineup. So I think Sandy Alcantara gets pulled in the 6th or 7th, and the Phillies get 5 runs. I'm going with Phillies 5, Marlins 3.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting a little sweatier. I'll go 4-3. Barely hitting the over, not hitting the game under. Not hitting the game over. Going under.
Love it.
Phil's
Love
win.
it. Love it. Love it. Guys, that is going to wrap up this edition of DSM Pre-Game Live, streaming to you here exclusively on the DSM Media YouTube channel. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. We greatly appreciate it. For myself, for George, you can find us on Twitter. As you can see, our @ names on the screen. You can also check DSM out at DSM_media on Twitter. Have a great rest of your night and ring the bell.